Hey, good morning. This is your energy for the week coming up. Today is Saturday, April 18th. Happy new moon last night. I hope you had a good one. All the Aries. I'm an Aries moon myself, so I actually had my lunar return the day before. But it was an interesting, energetic time. This will be energy for the week starting tomorrow, the 19th, through next Saturday, the 25th. I have Walter here hoping that he'll stay quiet for me. So I want to say one thing. In meditation the other day, I did receive April 21st as being a date to watch. I think that's Tuesday. And I first want to mention that the way this week is feeling for me coming up, it feels like large energy through the first half of the week, and then a little bit lesser than that the second half of the week. That's how it's presenting to me so far this morning. And it's interesting, I did not get anything really deeply specific about the week coming up other than the way the energy crescendo seems to run and the 21st being a date to watch, but instead I got pulled to be reminded of two very distinct conversations that I had with multiple people the last several days. One was all around accountability. I believe the astrology has been saying that. I think even the numerology of this year or something has been saying that. But those were things that I hadn't heard since like really early in the year. And for some reason, just these last few days, the ideas around accountability started coming back up again, which is really interesting, especially because the biggest theme that has been coming up for me, it started about a week and a half ago, but these last 3 days in particular was around women and I am not one to jump on here and like ride the whole like the divine feminine is rising, that kind of thing. It's not that I disagree with the idea and feeling around that, but I think people can kind of dig in a little, go a little too far and kind of lose like the human side of everything. But the conversation about feminine energy and the patriarchy and women has been so potent these last few days. Again, it started a week and a half ago. My daughter and I were having a conversation. It had something to do with an experience she encountered that day. And I can't remember if it was like in her college classes or if in her job or something, but it had to do with like staying quiet. And I said to her, oh yeah, sit still, look pretty, because she used to like that song when she was a little girl when it came out. And without giving every single detail, because it would probably take me 15 minutes to get through it, several days ago then she and I were having another conversation, historical romantic relationship versus a current romantic relationship she's experiencing, and the red flags and the quiet down and the you're always the problem and the nothing's ever right enough for you, all you do is complain kinds of things, like gaslighting and squashing down and making you small, versus green flags that are coming up in the current circumstance where none of that is happening. And so in the conversation, we kind of talked about, women being told like all you do is complain, and, there's a difference between like the constant no gratitude, no silver lining can be found, Debbie Downer, negative Nelly kind of person, versus out loud oral processing, verbal processing, processing through the emotion, through where it's held in your body, venting it out to get it out, and then going on with your day as a happy, positive person. There's a difference between those two things. And through that, then the next day having a conversation with a friend explaining the same thing, while I accidentally swiped something on my phone, and one of those like, hey, here's an old picture of yours that came up, and it was the 4 generation of women of my daughter, me, my mom, and my grandmother before she passed, which was like a little wink from her, I feel, very much felt in the moment. Then going into the grocery store, in the middle of that conversation, right after finding that, and the song playing overhead was Sit Still, Look Pretty. You cannot make this up. And then coupling that with yesterday, so this was 3 days in a row. Yesterday, one of my long time closest friends from high school and college, was the maid of honor at my wedding, sent me, oh God, I have chills, sent me a TikTok on here that was, scroll through the pictures with the information on the screen, and it was about the strength and the power. God, I almost feel emotional about it. The power and the righteous rage of the feminine, saying, we have had a fucking enough. We've had enough. And putting all of those together with the feminine saying, enough with this system that has kept us quiet and tried to put us in a box and keep us in our place and keep us quiet and not allowing us to show rage because we're too emotional. And all of that, everything in the systemic patriarchy that exists, with the accountability conversation, I have chills. I can't help but feel like that's all incredibly timely and incredibly purposeful. So I wanted to bring that conversation up, and there's a reason all of that was, I was already going, okay, I hear you, I see you, Spirit. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Thank you for pounding it home so that I would know that this just wasn't coincidence. This was absolutely signs and symbols related to something. And then continuing after my acknowledgement, like little cherries on top, and not in any way thinking of that this morning when I went into meditation to check on the energy coming into this week, and being reminded that that was important. So join me in this conversation. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences. I personally am ridiculously grateful and blessed that the men that I am most commonly surrounded with, my father, my brother, my husband, the son that we raised together, they're all feminists. They're all in awe and complete acknowledgement of the power that women hold. And I do not experience them trying to squash any of us or keep us small simply because we're women. That's not to say we don't screw up. We even do it to ourselves because we've been so systemically trained to do so. But the ideology, I am incredibly grateful that I am surrounded with men who view women the way that they do. Let me know your thoughts. How are you doing? How are you holding up in this energy? It still feels big to me. The intensity of the way the tightness and anxiety felt for me yesterday is not as deep, but I am very, very consciously aware that the intensity is still present. And I do feel it for several more days. Hang tight. It feels big. None of us know how this is going to go, what it's going to be, but it's not done yet. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.